Hello and a warm welcome to all of you. Hope all of you are doing well today. Today's topic, overcoming emotional pain. When we get injured or we are in some kind of pain, we put a bandage or take an antibiotic or treat an infection, and no questions are asked. In fact, questions are asked when we don't do it. So, why isn't it the same when we have mental illness or mental worries or mental pain? Joining us today from the headquarters of the Brahma Kumaris in Mount Abu is Sister Shreya. Sister Shreya has been affiliated with the Brahma Kumaris since the past 12 years, and she has been practicing and also teaching meditation. She's also been actively involved in conducting spiritual seminars and workshops across India, and also has been featured on numerous talks on the Peace of Mind channel and YouTube. So let us all welcome Sister Shreya. I will just, before I do that, I need to start my recording. So give me a minute. Okay. Welcome, Sister.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for that kind introduction, and Om Shanti. Om Shanti to all the participants who have joined us today. And Sister Zabeen was very nicely sharing about physical pain. And she was saying how when we have physical pain, we do something about it. And if we don't do something about it, it's not considered normal. So every time there is a pain, we know it is not normal. We know we have to do something about it. And we do something about it. Whenever there's a physical pain, even if it's just a headache, we will take a Crocin or we'll take a Disprin, and we'll take it every 6 hours till we are relieved of that pain. So we know that physical pain is not normal. But today we're going to talk about emotional pain, and to realize that just the way physical pain is not normal, similarly, emotional pain is also not normal. And actually, pain, even at a physical level, is not a disease. It's more a symptom. It kind of comes to tell you that something is not right and you need to diagnose that. So pain is always a symptom. It's telling you something. It's that feeling of discomfort, feeling a little unease, and you know you have to do something about it. And similarly, we've all experienced a lot of discomfort here, a lot of unease here, but somewhere, because everybody is kind of experiencing that, we sometimes think probably it is normal. And somebody says, oh, I'm a little stressed. And somebody will be like, oh, everybody is stressed. It's okay. It's normal. Everybody is depressed. It's okay. And it's just becoming normal, to say that it's okay. The emotional pain is okay, but it's not. And in some of the research which has come this year, because this year and the last year has been quite difficult for a lot of people. And WHO is saying that 1 in every 4 people is in depression, which is very sad. And depression or feeling stressed or worried. So it starts with emotional pain, and then it gets into mental pain. So worry, anxiety, stress would be more like emotional pain. But if you don't do something about it and you just consider it normal and you just keep going with it, then after a while it gets into a stage of depression. And depression is something where you experience this constant sadness. So otherwise it's like a stock market index where you go down and come up. So you're happy, sad, you're fluctuating. But then depression is a stage where you just don't feel like talking to anybody. You don't enjoy doing anything. You're constantly experiencing that sadness and you just don't know what to do about it. And it's scary when we reach that stage, because then it takes a lot of time to come out of it. Of course, we can come out of it, but it takes time. And what is very surprising is that most people feel that emotional pain, whatever pain they're going through, a lot of people will say, I'm so hurt, I have experienced so much pain, or I'm in so much pain. And the reason is always outside. So you feel that this person said something to me, somebody insulted me, was rude to me, cheated, betrayed, abused. Could be, list could be very long, but we feel that somebody did something to me which caused that emotional pain. And that's the first thing that we have to understand, that nobody can create emotional pain. People can hurt me physically, they can betray me, they can cheat me, they can lie, they can do a lot of things, but nobody can go within my mind and create that pain. For example, if somebody says something very rude, so many people in the day, different moods, we can't control all the people. So there is somebody who's standing in front of us and may say something nasty, may say something like, you're of no use, or I've told you to do this properly so many times, still you don't understand, or anything. And we think because they were rude to me, they insulted me, and that is why I'm experiencing this pain. But today, just reflect. What they say to me is not what is creating hurt. What they say is their choice, is reflection of their sanskars, their nature, and I have no control over what they are saying. But what I do with their words in my mind is what is going to create hurt. So, for example, they are rude and they say something like, you're useless or you're no good. And I accept their words and I start identifying with their words. And then I start repeating them in my mind. So, a commentary would be like, how could they say something like this to me? How could they say something like this to me in front of so many people? If they had to say something, they could have said it politely or, gracefully or in a more dignified manner. Why did they have to say something like this? So this starts in my mind. And I will say, but it is natural, no? They were the stimulant, so I'm going to think like this. But no, I have a choice. The only one thing which is in my control is my mind, and it's the thoughts that I create in my mind. Every thought that I create in my mind is going to create a feeling. And I am the creator of my thoughts. It's a huge aha moment for all of us the moment we realize that I am the creator of that inner chatter. I'm the one who's creating that every single thought, and I have a choice. And let me take back that choice. And here, when somebody is saying something to me which is rude and nasty, or you could just think of any situation that happened probably today or yesterday, because we live in a time where there's so many triggers on a daily level, and we can do three things with that energy. So when somebody is rude and nasty to me, the first that I do with it is, or most people, I absorb that negative energy. So there's somebody who's throwing a stone at me, and I don't take care of myself and I don't protect, and I absorb all the negative energy, and I feel hurt. I feel sad, I feel hurt. I'm creating all these negative thoughts in my mind, and I'm really, really upset. And the second thing that normally that we do is that we absorb that energy. Some people just absorb it and just feel very low, and they experience a lot of emotional pain. They feel very low, then they're not able to be very productive or creative. They just are not happy anymore. And we're always blaming the other person. We're always saying it's them. The finger is always pointing at them. And the second thing that normally that we do is we absorb that energy and we reflect it back. Tit for tat is what they say in the world. And they say, if you don't do tit for tat, if you don't respond, if you keep quiet, or if you tolerate, then people will think that you are weak. But then we don't realize that if somebody is rude to me and I have to be nasty to them, then again, who is suffering? I have to create negative thoughts in my mind to utter those words. So the negative energy is going to get created in my mind, and that's when it's going to get radiated to the other person. It's like if you have to throw hot coal at somebody, it's your hand which is going to get burnt the first time. You know, it's like drinking poison. Buddha said this once, very beautiful. It's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. No, it's not going to happen. So to reflect that energy back, to say those nasty things back, because just because some people will feel that if I don't respond, then maybe I am weak. Actually, just give it a thought. What is more difficult, to keep quiet or to just respond rudely? It's not difficult to just respond rudely, but it takes a lot of tolerance to not reply in the same manner. And I am not doing them a favor. When I choose to keep quiet, it's because I'm taking care of myself. I'm not doing them a favor. What they are saying is a reflection of their sanskar, their nature, their traits, and how I respond to what is happening around me or to what people are saying to me is a reflection of my nature. And that's going to affect me the first. They still have a choice. If there's somebody who stands in front of me who's very powerful, will just not even listen to me, will not even care about it. But if I have to throw hot coal at somebody, my hand will burn. So most of us, what we do is first we absorb that negative energy and then we reflect it back. And then we talk about the third law, which says that every action has equal and opposite reaction. What we sow is what we are going to reap. And then we forget this in this time, that if we are going to sow this, then this is what is going to come back. So for example, if I'm going to radiate negative energy, then sooner or later from this person and another person, that's the energy that I'm sending to the universe, and that's going to come back to me. I forget the law. We talk about the law, but in the practical life, when we are hurt, we tend to reflect that energy and we forget the law. So normally our sadness, if not healed very quickly, turns into anger. That's normally what happens. So I absorb that negative energy and I'm quite sad and I'm quite upset. And in my mind, I am all blaming and complaining the other person. I don't like them. And I get an opportunity and it reflect that energy back, which my sadness gradually turns into anger. And this anger is so damaging for me, so damaging for me, because this anger is going to affect first my state of mind. Because if I have to get angry on you, I have to create that anger within. So it's affecting my state of mind. And then that negative energy, before it reaches you, is going to affect my body. So many health problems today are psychosomatic because we have started justifying being upset and we have started justifying being angry. A lot of people tell me, but righteous anger. And I say, what is righteous anger? Because you say anger, it's a negative word, but you just add another positive word to it and you just call it righteous anger, and you say positive stress, and you say harmless gossip. It's gossip, but you say harmless gossip. And you think that just by putting a nice word behind it, it will all become okay. There's another one which says good terrorism. It's terrorism, and then you just can't say good terrorism. So what is righteous anger? Where people say, no, if something wrong is happening, if there's an injustice, if there's domestic violence or anything, you have to raise your voice, you have to do something about it. You can't just sit like that. Yes, you have to do something about it. But why with anger? If you go around trying to change things with anger, how can an approach which is negative bring a positive result? It's never going to happen. So if you want to contribute, why not wear a mask of not of anger, but move around with face of compassion and love, and then try to change something. So it's not that we don't contribute. Of course, we have to contribute, but how are we contributing if our approach is only negative? Because every time we talk about righteous anger, we see some injustice. There's already so much anger in the world. If there is, say, a case of rape or a case of physical abuse or a murder, and there is so much uproar in the country, there is so much uproar in the city, there's already so much anger and pain, the victim, the people, everybody in so much pain. And then we talk about righteous anger, where we go with marches and rallies, and we think we have to raise our voices to do something, but we don't realize that we just add more anger and more negative energy in the environment, where people who are suffering actually want compassion and love. And you will see that most of the times these things just die down after a few days, and nothing very definite comes out of it. So there's a lot of noise, there's uproar, there are marches, there are rallies, and then there's not much change actually, because a positive change can only come when it's a positive approach. So this anger is also something which is creating so much emotional pain today, just in the name of sometimes getting things done or disciplining people. And I understand that, yes, it does get work done. I will not deny that. Whether it's in school, a teacher would say, oh, I just have to raise my voice and students listen. Whether it's in a company. But what is happening when you're getting angry? You're creating fear in people, and you're getting things done out of fear. And things are happening, and look around, things are happening. We have acquired so much, and we have done so much, and we've been doing so much. But is it only about getting things done? Because the people you are dealing with are people. They're not objects. So when we get angry on them and we reflect our negative energy on them, they will do the work, but they're also going to think. They're not machines. Even though in today's world, you go in company and they will say it human resources. You can name them resources, but they're actually not resources. They're human beings. They're thinking beings. So you create fear in them, and they are fearful because times are difficult. They will not get another job. They're dependent for their livelihood on some people. They can't leave the school or the company or the current job. So out of fear or out of suppression or out of control, they will do it. But they will think about you. And what they're going to think about you is not going to be nice, because they're experiencing hurt, they're experiencing suffocation. When you control somebody or you get angry on somebody, they feel a lot of anger and hurt and fear and suffocation, suppression. So they're going to think, and which those thoughts are going to be not very nice. And all that negative energy is going to come back. And that negative energy, energy is something that you can't see, but it's all the time which we're exchanging with people. When we're around people, it is exchange of energy. And a lot of people today will say, I have everything. I've acquired everything. My children are settled. Everything is okay, but I feel very empty. I feel very lonely. I don't feel comfortable. So everything external is very okay, but internally, they're not feeling content. They can't sleep well at night. They feel very empty. They feel very lonely because there's so many people who are not thinking right about me. When people think right about me, it's like their blessings, their positive vibes, which make me feel very comfortable. At least most people, if they're thinking right for me, it's very important, because that vibration is reaching me all the time and it's affecting me. It's affecting my health, it's affecting my state of mind. So other people who are around me, the people I work with, whether it's an office, whether it's home, are these people content with me? They're doing the work, but are they also comfortable and content? Am I also concerned about their desires and their feelings and their problems and their challenges? Because we're not human doing, we are human beings. We've become more of doing now. Everything is about doing and doing and doing. And lately, somebody was sharing a very beautiful quote with me, and they said it was always about people were to be loved and things were to be used. But they're saying it's becoming reversed now. So it's more like things are loved. So people will be, I love my phone and I love my new car and I love my ice cream. So everything I love, I love, I love. And when it comes to people who you actually need to love, it's like sometimes you are using them because it's all about getting things done from them. So work is happening, but relationship at most places is like fractured. It's, the energy exchange is not very elevated. And so everything you are able to acquire at an external level, but internally you may not be feeling very happy or content. So it's very important that people around me are comfortable with me. And then how do I get work done? That's the big question, that if I don't get angry, how do I get work done? And of course, the other one, we know that if we don't use anger, it's getting things done with love. It just takes a little bit of time. I've seen what happens with love is, when I say love, what I mean is building that relationship with other person. You're building that relationship. So if you're building a relationship, today you might have to tell them twice and thrice and 4 times. But once a relationship is built and the relationship is strong, you won't even have to tell them. They will just understand your thought. You will just have to give them a little signal and they'll do it for you. Just few days back on Rakhi, one of the brother I was meeting, and he said he's into the field of construction. He has a lot of people working for him, and he said, I tell my team, this is what you're supposed to do. Whether you do it in 4 hours or you do it in 6 hours, it's something that depends on you. Once you've finished your work, go spend time with your family. You don't need to sit in the office. But this is what you're supposed to do. But then I then want you to spend time with your family. And then he said, but there are days when there is a lot of work. And then even those who are working for 4 hours are ready to work for 8 hours and are also ready to work for 16 hours. But that is because we have such good relationship that we understand each other. And there are days they work for 4 hours and there are the other days they work for 14 hours, but it's okay. We understand each other and we care for each other and we understand that they need to spend time with their family and with their children. So getting work done with love requires patience because you're not creating fear, but you're building relationship. So it requires patience. And patience is love in action. We can tell people, I love you, I love you. But actually, what is love? It is patience in action. That's when you say, I really love you, because you allow that person to gradually understand you and to work according to you. It takes time. People have different sanskars. So the other thing that I was saying is that when somebody is rude or insulting, you can absorb the pain or you can reflect back the pain. But even when you're reflecting, you're damaging yourself the most. You're damaging your state of mind. You are damaging your health. You are damaging relationships and you are damaging the environment around. Nobody likes to work in an office which has negative energy, or nobody likes to live in a house which is all the time negative vibration. You want to come back to a place which has very elevated energy. So 4 things are getting damaged: my state of mind, my health, my relationship, and the environment of the place. But yes, the work gets done. Easy way. I have to choose. I have to choose. Am I ready to spend more time getting work done with love and building relationship, or allowing all these things to get damaged and feel lonely and empty and not able to sleep well? And so what is the next thing? What can I do? If I can't absorb that energy and I can't reflect it back, then what do I do? And then what God tells us is that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, but you can transform it. And how do I transform? So if there's somebody in front of me who is very rude, and there they say something very nasty, that you're useless and you're no good, and we tell you so many times, but you still don't understand, and all these lines are coming in. And then I need to be aware. I need to be aware that in my mind, I can create a different commentary. And that commentary could be, okay, what they are saying is not nice. Maybe they're not in a good mood. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe whatever they're saying is also right, but the way, the manner is not right. But let me not get affected. Take care of myself. I will reflect. If I'm at fault, I will change. Otherwise, it is okay, full stop. I can't do anything about it. I have to remind myself that somebody who's standing in front of me, if they are rude or if they are, uh, nasty, they're not in a very elevated state of mind. It's just like if somebody is physically handicapped. If you come across somebody who's physically handicapped and they drop something and they break something, you don't get upset with them. Very naturally, you have compassion for them because you understand they're physically handicapped. Now, there is somebody who's standing in front of you who's shouting or insulting or just not being nice. You have to remind yourself at that moment they're emotionally handicapped. They're physically okay, but they're unwell. They're not bad, but they are weak. They're emotionally weak. Only emotionally weak people use anger and fear and abuse power to get things done. An emotionally strong person will never use these tools, will always get things done with love and compassion and forgiveness. So there's somebody who's standing there because you understand that they're suffering. You can see them suffering. Another quote that I really like from Buddha is when he says, you will not be punished for your anger because anger is the punishment. So, it's not like I have to say something back to them, uh, tit for tat. And, a lot of time we feel, no, we have to teach them a lesson. We don't have to teach anybody a lesson. When people are getting angry, don't we know this? Whenever we get angry, all of us once in a while lose our temper. We're not comfortable. We're not at ease. We're so uncomfortable. And even once the work gets done, after screaming or shouting, whether it's at a child or somebody, we feel so drained. Even in an argument, sometimes, you see a heated argument. You look at television and you see all the news channel and the kind of debates that they have. It's such a heated argument. And I was with a sister who was into journalism, and we were doing recording some episodes, and she's basically a spokesperson for one of the political parties in India. And her role is basically, she's a spokesperson for a party. So her role is to kind of, uh, she represents that party and whatever that party has to say. So she represents that. So she's, during the day, she's on multiple channels and she's into these multiple debates, and they're all kind of trying to prove their points and getting angry and screaming and abusing each other. And she's kind of good at it. So her name in the whole media thing is that, oh, nobody can win against her, and she can prove her point and she can fight it and this and that. And I was sitting with her and I said, you go through these heated arguments, uh, what is, by the end of the day, how do you feel? She said, I am drained. And then she told me, I am all the time anxious. And she said, I can't sleep at night. I've been taking sleeping pills for more than 13 years. And I'm like, what? Because she's famous and she's the spokesperson and nobody can guess that she's going through such a thing. And she said, but I can't sleep at night. And I said, then why do you do this? And she said, it's become a habit. Getting angry can become a habit, and it can become very addictive because you get that adrenaline rush. You get a rush, it's like that very temporary. When you win an argument, you prove a point, you've just proved a point. So you just get that high. And with all kind of addictions, you temporarily feel good. So people can get into a habit of, going into an argument and then winning that argument. and getting a high from winning an argument, and then people around you appreciate that nobody can win against you and you can prove any point and you are so good. But if you sit with them and meet them personally, and we all know that. We all know that even after winning an argument, we are completely drained. So, uh, noted for that. I would say be compassionate to yourself. We need to be compassionate to ourselves. We are waiting for people to be, to be loving to us or respect us or talk nicely to us. We just need one person to talk nicely to us, and that is ourselves. How you talk to me is unimportant. You can talk to me the way you want to talk to me. You want to accept me or criticize me, it's your choice. But what I do with your words in my mind is important. So you say one line and you go. And I take that one line and I repeat it in my mind again and again and for months and for years. And how much self-abuse is this? How am I talking to myself? Why am I disrespecting myself? We say, oh, this one disrespected me. Fine. It's their choice. They may not be in a good mood. But then why am I disrespecting myself? When I say these things, oh, they're no good. They shouldn't talk like that. And how can they do this to me? And what do they think of themselves? And just wait. And next time I meet them, and we just go on. But this is self-abuse. This is disrespecting myself. Because every time I think negatively, I hurt myself. I am hurting myself. I'm creating a lot of hurt. Nobody can create emotional hurt. They can hurt me physically, financially. They can cheat me. They can even lie. But what I do with that in my head, in my mind, that is creating a lot of hurt. So today, when somebody is saying something, remind yourself they're emotionally weak. They're emotionally handicapped. And just the way when you come across somebody who is physically handicapped, there is so much compassion for that person. You don't get angry, you have compassion. And similarly, when you see somebody getting angry or even lying or even cheating, just have compassion. Why do people lie? Because they are afraid that they will lose their image. They're attached to that image that they're perfect, and they want to hold that image in front of the other person. That's one reason they can lie. A lot of time they lie because they think if they speak the truth, the other person will get upset or get angry and the relationship will get spoiled. That's the reason. So there can be multiple reasons why people are doing, and you ask them and they will give you 100 reasons why they're doing and what they're doing. And we will have no answer, because if somebody says, I lied because I know if I had spoken the truth, you would get hurt. What do you say? If we have the power to listen to anything and remain stable, everybody will have the power to come and tell us the truth. So many times children lie, spouse lie to each other, family members are lying to each other just for the one reason that if I tell them the truth, they will be hurt. They will hold on to it for years. They will not forgive me. The relationship will get fractured. And that's just one of the reasons why so many people are lying. Otherwise, everybody feels comfortable speaking the truth. And if the child or anybody knows that I can go tell them anything and they will not be hurt, and they will remain stable, and they will continue to love me, and they will not hold on this against me, people want to come and speak. So many times, so many people come to us and we don't have any relationship with them. We're meeting them for the first time. But of course, in few moments, in that exchange of energy, they realize that we have a lot of good wishes for them, and they open their life story in front of us. And sometimes I'm so surprised that within 10-15 minutes of the meeting, they would share such secrets, because they know that the person who's listening is listening as a detached observer and has only good wishes, and they want to share the story. So what the other person is doing is not in my control, but how I respond to it, whether I create hurt. And then if I've already created hurt, For how long do I want to hold it on to? Because sometimes something somebody has said 10 years ago, and I'm still holding on to that pain. And I tell myself, or to a lot of people very proudly, I am never going to speak to them again. Very proudly. And then sometimes we tell our children also, after my death, also, you are not going to speak to them. We have no relationship with them. Nobody is going to talk to them. And even if one family member kind of, takes that step to kind of whatever rift is there to, make it okay, other people don't like it. So why did you go talk to them? But if I'm, this one line when I say, I am never going to talk to them, I am never going to forget what they said. In other words, what I'm trying to say is, I am going to continue living in pain. This is exact translation. What I'm saying is, if I'm never going to forget this, what I'm trying to say is, I am going to continue living in pain because it's I who is holding on to it. That person has said and left. And sometimes, what we are holding on to, and we're waiting that they have been rude to me or whatever, and we're waiting for them to come and apologize. We want them to feel guilty. We want them to come and apologize, and then I will feel okay. And sometimes they don't, because they don't think they have done anything wrong. They're just living their life wonderfully. And it's I who is suffering. For how long do I want to hold on? Because anything that you hold on, see, this is something which is very light, very, very light. But if I hold on to this, and if I have to hold on to this for a minute, it is light. This, if I have to hold on for an hour like this, after 1 hour, I'll start feeling that it's a little heavy. The weight hasn't changed, but because I've been holding for too long, I'll start feeling that it's heavy. And if I hold on for 1 day, and then 1 week, and then 1 month, just imagine how heavy this will feel. And we don't hold on for a month, we sometimes hold on for years. And that is why we say, oh, I don't feel light, I feel very heavy, I feel very not very comfortable. And why am I feeling heavy? Because it's heaviness here. Sometimes there's nothing outside which is very tiring. We're sitting in ACs, comfortable jobs, doing everything, but holding on to so much here, which is making me feel very heavy. So do I want to feel light or do I want to feel heavy? Because it's just like, see, even at home, you collect garbage at one place every day. And then you throw that garbage out of your house every day. Even if you collect at one corner, you throw it out every day, because even if it's at one corner, you don't throw it out. Gradually, you will feel the smell in the whole house, the stench of it. So even if it's with one person that something has happened, and you're holding on to it in one corner of your mind, it will affect every relationship. Because you are sad, you are hurt. So that feeling will start coming out in every relationship. You will start getting upset with your own child, with your husband. Something might have happened in the office, but you don't heal yourself or you don't let go. And you come back home, and that pain will then radiate to the family. And that happens most of the time. So there's a lot of emotional baggage and a lot of emotional pain that we collect from other places, from office or friends. And we come back home and we radiate it out to the family. And that's where the relationship starts getting fractured. So we can't hold on in our mind. We have to let go, and let go very fast. It's not about letting go after 1 year or 10 years. It's letting go many times in the day, actually, many times. So if somebody said something and I create a little hurt and I realize and I'm saying, I'm just going to let go. What they said is it's reflection of their sanskars, and I'm going to choose how I am going to respond, and full stop. Einstein said something once, he said, weak people take revenge. Weak take revenge. Strong forgive. Strong people, they forgive. But the wise people, they just let go, ignore. In the sense, strong people, they first get hurt and then they choose to forgive. That's also complicated. You first think negatively and then you kind of forgive. But wise people don't create hurt. One is I create hurt and then I heal the wound, but the scar will remain, no? And the other is that I don't create hurt. I reach that elevated stage that your words don't influence me and I choose what to think in my mind. I am the master of my thoughts. But even if out of ignorance we didn't know and we have created a lot of pain, today and this moment is the time to let go. To let go. A lot of us, when somebody you get to know is about to die, or you get to know that you are about to die, which doesn't happen very often, but if you know that you have a month or two or few days during the time of COVID, a lot of people realize this. And the only thing they wanted to do was heal relationship. And they said, oh, I want to forgive everybody and ask for forgiveness because you don't want to carry any baggage. But why when we're about to die? Why not every moment is the last moment and we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow? Why do we want to carry any baggage with us when we move on in the journey? And it's a very comfortable feeling when you have good relationship with everybody. You're not best friends with everybody, but there's beautiful exchange of energy, because otherwise it's not possible to remember the divine. I don't think so, because their negative energy tends to pull you down. To have good connection with God, to receive His love, to receive His blessings, you need to be very light. And that is why a lot of people, when they say, oh, we sit for meditation and we sit to remember God, but we can't connect. Our mind is not able to connect. It gets diverted in different directions. Why? Because there's so many people who are pulling my intellect. And I need to free my intellect. So today, I forgive people. And when I'm forgiving people, actually, I'm not forgiving them. I am forgiving myself. I'm doing a favor to myself, holding on to so much pain for so many years. And we have chosen this because so many times a lot of people will say, we're otherwise very forgetful. So where did you keep the keys? Oh, I don't remember. Where did I keep the spectacles? I don't remember. What did you have for dinner last night? I don't remember. So even, to think about what I had yesterday for food, it takes me a minute to remember what was there for breakfast, or where did I keep my keys? So forgetful, we don't remember anything. And so many times in a day, we will say, oh, I'm so sorry, I just forgot that, I forgot that, and I forgot that. So we forget so many things because we did not think about them consciously. Somebody told us something, but we did not kind of churn over it. But when something negative, we churn over it, we think about it, we share it with other people. So it's like it's a scar, and if you keep thinking about it, it becomes a wound. And when it becomes a wound, it takes time to heal. And how will a wound also heal? Even if you have a wound, if there's a physical wound, we all know when children get that wound, so they want to keep touching it, they want to keep peeling it off. And the mother or anybody who is senior in the house will say, don't touch it, don't touch it. If you want the wound to heal, don't touch it. Similarly, there's an emotional wound of something somebody has said or done, or any wound. Don't touch it. Don't touch it about. Don't go thinking about it again and again and again. If you keep touching the wound, if you keep thinking about it, if you keep sharing it with people, it is just going to increase. And the best way, I remember one of a senior Dadi Janki would always say, because a lot of people would say, I want to forget the past, but I can't. It's not that I don't want to forget. I want to forget. I want to let go, but it keeps coming back to me. What do I do to heal myself? And I remember this. She said, sit in silence and ask yourself, what did this scene teach me? learn from your past. And she said, the moment you learn from your past, it will leave you. Did it teach me self-respect? Did it teach me humility? Did it teach me that I am the creator of my thoughts and people can hurt me? Because this one time, um, I met a sister sometime back, and she's 26-year-old now, but she has somebody who has seen a lot of domestic violence at home. She's also seen some amount of physical abuse and has gone through that. And she's carrying a lot of hurt and is in severe depression right now. And I kept telling her, but something that happened when you were a child, it's over. Now you are an adult and you can lead your life the way you want. You're not a victim anymore, but you're a victim of your own thoughts and mind. And she just couldn't come out of it. And then after many, many sessions, she realized that somebody can hurt her body but cannot hurt her mind and cannot take away her self-respect and her dignity and her choice to think about what she wants to think about herself and how she wants to lead her life now. Because one scene, if we don't let go, it's not a nice scene that happened, but it has happened. It was not in my control. And always remember that anybody who's doing something wrong, their action creates their destiny. I don't have to think about taking revenge and punishing them because their action is creating their destiny and my actions are going to create my destiny. Of course, if I want to go taking any legal help for something, it is fine. There's something that I want to take legal help, go ahead. But here, don't hold on to any revenge. That's damaging. What you want to do at external level is fine. We're not saying that if somebody is doing something wrong, they should not be punished. I remember this beautiful story. This is a real story. It's there on YouTube. There's a Muslim woman. Um, I am forgetting her name. And her son, her 18-year-old son was murdered. He had gone out to buy food, and his 18-year-old son was murdered by somebody who was 16-year-old and just robbed that uh, child and ran away, but he was caught. And this is a little scene in the court where this mother looks at the 16-year-old and says, I forgive you. I can't take revenge from you because revenge will not bring back my son and hatred will not bring back my son because his death was already preordained. But now that you've come in my life and you're part of the society, and I think it is my responsibility to be part of your life and contribute in your life, because if I don't forgive you and if I take revenge and I hate you, then similar scene will repeat with somebody else's child. And she says, I read Quran every day, and every day Allah says, Rehenuma, to be compassionate, to be merciful. And she says, I read it every day, but today I have to practice. And she was in a lot of pain. And she said, but today is a day when I have to practice. And so I forgive you, which didn't mean that law did not take place. That 16-year-old was punished for 15 years. He was in the jail for 15 years. But this woman, on a weekly basis, went to meet that child and kept telling that child that I forgive you and you have to grow up to be a good human being so that the story doesn't repeat. And this is a real story I'm sharing. And after 15 years of imprisonment, when this child came out, she adopted him and he took care of her like a mother. So he was punished for his crime and sins, but then amazing, amazing. And she said, but what I have read is the time to practice, because that God is always ocean of compassion and compassion. And that's what he teaches us, to be compassionate and to be forgiving. And we don't have such big things in our life. For us, forgiveness would be something so small. Somebody said something, did something. And that's what we have learned from all our scriptures, whether it's Quran or Bible or Gita or any spirituality will teach you that let only kindness flow from you, because what you give out, you're the first person to receive. And that's what you radiate out in the universe, and that's what's come back. So it's not that difficult scenes don't come, challenges don't come, but you choose how to respond. You choose, because what you radiate is what you receive the first, and then it comes back. And what you create becomes your destiny. Your actions create your destiny. Their actions create their destiny. So, firstly, let's not create pain. Today, remind ourselves that I am the creator of my thoughts and I have a choice, and I'm not going to create pain. Second, if I'm not aware and I create that pain, let me not blame anybody. Let me not wait for somebody to come and apologize and make me feel okay. Take the responsibility to heal yourself. Take that responsibility. Heal yourself. Let go. And third, forgiveness. When I forgive, I'm doing a favor to myself. Just start talking to people. Even if they're not ready from your end, tell them, I have forgotten everything. There's nothing that I am holding on to anything. You can take your time to heal and come back. Let your ego not come in between and say they should come and ask for forgiveness. No, I value this relationship. I value my peace of mind. I value my connection with God. I value my other relationships. I need to finish this chapter. So I am going to tell the other person it's over from my end. What happened, happened. It's over. You can take your time to heal and come back. I am here. And let's have a beautiful exchange of energy. And what's gone is gone. So learn from the past what it has come to teach me. Either I had to learn forgiveness or self-respect or humility. I don't know. We have lessons to be learned. A gem cannot be polished without friction, and a person cannot become elevated without trials and tribulations. So some things will happen, but they're there to teach us and to make us even better person, better human being. So I think I will stop here. And Sister Zabeen, you can take over from here.
Thank you, sister. Rejection, failure, emotional injuries can be just as crippling as physical injuries. And I think all of us joining today will agree that Sister Shreya has just given us some emotional, I would say, first aid. So let us not absorb. Let us not absorb and reflect, as Sister Shreya shared. And then after we absorb and we reflect, then we also have to remember that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So instead of doing what we have been doing, the norm that we have been following all this while, let us instead practice not taking any pain. And let me not blame anyone if I have been in some kind of pain or anything. Let me try and heal myself. And the third and most important is forgiveness. Also, what I really like, sister, is that we need to monitor and protect our self-esteem. When we feel like putting ourselves down, take a moment to be compassionate to our own self. Like you said, that speak compassionately to your own self, because your body, your mind is listening all to the words that are going on in your mind, the thoughts that are going on. And what I really, really like is that wear a mask of compassion and love. So not only the mask to protect us from the virus, but let us protect ourselves from all the negativity, and let us just give out that only compassion and love to whoever we meet and interact. There are a few questions here, but before we start with the questions, I would like you mentioned about forgiveness. If you could guide us to a few minutes of meditation, that how do we practice forgiveness?
Sure. Okay. So for a few moments, wherever you're sitting, just sit comfortably. Relax your body. and release all tension. And come into the awareness that I am a being of peace. I don't want peace, but originally I am a peaceful and loving being. But through the day, I have to protect myself. I have to protect my inner peace. So if you think there is someone who has hurt you, or betrayed you, or cheated you, in this moment, bring them on the screen of your mind. Look at them as a detached observer. They are weak. They themselves are emotionally suffering. Instead of getting angry with them or hating them, or wanting to take revenge, I have compassion because I understand that they are weak and out of their old nature, they did what they did and said what they wanted to say. But I also realize that it was I who chose to hold on to their words, repeat them in my mind, share it with other people, that created that wound. I'm responsible for creating that wound. And today, in this moment, I choose to let go. And in letting go, I first forgive myself, for giving myself so much pain, for abusing myself. How can I love someone till I love myself? I choose to be compassionate with myself and treat myself with respect and dignity. And I also choose to forgive other people. I don't hold on to anything. I am free. I'm master of my mind and my thoughts. I'm not influenced by how people treat me, but I choose to treat myself with dignity and other people with dignity. I make rules for myself because I know what I give is what will come back. So give love, take love. Give happiness, take happiness. Give peace and experience peace. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sister. That was beautiful because most of the times we are able to forgive others, but we are not able to forgive ourselves. We relive that moment, we relive that scene, and we tend to talk to ourselves very hard or very harshly. You mentioned about being compassionate. Could you a little bit explain the difference between being sorry or feeling sorry for somebody, having mercy, and having compassion?
When you feel sorry for somebody, it's you see, either when it's yourself or the other person, it's more like a victim feeling that, oh my God, I feel so sorry for them. But when you're compassionate, it's not about seeing anybody as a victim. When you feel compassion for somebody, you in your with your thoughts and vibrations are radiating power for that person to become empowered and transform. So it's basically the kind of thoughts that you have for the other person. If it's negative, then the vibration is negative and it disempowers somebody. So, oh my God, I feel so sorry to them. Why did this happen to them? How can God do this with them? So it's basically a negative thinking and negative vibration. But when you're compassionate, you think right about everybody when you say they will also change, they also want to change. They don't do it on purpose. We all go through this once in a while, and you genuinely let it go from your mind. And this empowers the other person to transform. So it's basically the quality of thoughts and the quality of vibration that you radiate.
Thank you, sister. We have one more question here. How do I get myself to feel more motivated, especially at work? Because I feel right now I'm totally burned out.
um, I feel a lot of times what is not very tiring is the responsibilities of work. I don't think that's tiring us. But again, it's the quality of thoughts which tires us a lot. Burnout because maybe the way we are working is not very right. So a lot of times in Hindi, we say the word karma yoga. And a lot of people say work is worship. I don't believe in anything. I don't believe in God, but work is worship for me. But in that work, we are sometimes a little unethical, a little nasty, a little rude, a little angry. The way we are working is not very nice and elevated. And that's one of the reasons we feel the burnout. So it's the working, but when we take out some time for spiritual practice and it's self, family, and work. A lot of us, what we're doing is we're not taking out any time for the self, we're not charging ourselves, and we're working. So when we're working with a lot of people, when we're with a lot of people, there are going to be difference of opinions, there are going to be differences, and you need a lot of tolerance, you need a lot of adjustment, you need to let go, you need to make right decisions, you need to cooperate, you need a lot of powers when you're with a team, when you're working. And when I don't have those powers, after a while, I start feeling drained out. After a while, and one of the people were telling me that's why a lot of people who are very intelligent, intellectually very strong, but emotionally very weak, they don't like to then work in a company and want to do a startup or something because they don't know how to work in a team. And that is why now when they're hiring people at workplace, they look for somebody who is intellectually strong, but they also look for somebody who is emotionally strong and spiritually strong. So if you take out time daily for some kind of spiritual practice, then you will not feel drained out because at work, lots going to happen. People are going to be different people, no? So different people, different nature, and you don't have to get influenced. So many times what's happening, you are okay. There is nothing wrong with you. But there are people that you're working with, maybe going through anxiety, maybe going through stress, maybe going through challenges and difficulties, and their vibration, because you're working with them, you're in the same room. So their vibration will start influencing you and you will not even know. Just like the virus.
Mm.
So if we don't protect, we don't wear mask or we don't keep social distancing and stuff like that, then gradually we will not even know when the virus has affected us. And similarly, when we are working at a workplace, people come with the virus of anger and fear and anxiety and stress and insecurity and jealousy. We need to protect ourselves. So, daily spiritual practice will help you enjoy your work more and not feel drained out.
Thank you very much, sister. We have two more questions, but I'll make it very quick. Um, for the pandemic, if you have some tips on how to control pain. And the next one is if we forgive somebody and they don't forgive us, their negative vibrations and energy affect us. What should we do?
Um, the first one was the pandemic and the pain. And what pain are you talking about? The general pain that people are experiencing, or did the personal pain that I'm going through? If I have lost somebody, if you could be more specific, then we could talk about it.
It just says that any tips for this pandemic that everybody is going through, any tips
Okay.
that emotional pain, sorry, if we have
Okay.
emotional pain.
Pandemic has been very difficult for a lot of us. Um, we now, I don't know, it's very general, but then there are people who've lost closed ones and loved ones and are also going through that pain. There are also a lot of pain in the world. Pain is anything when you lose something. You could have lost a job, you could have lost a loved one, you could have lost your money, there could be financial insecurity. But you have to understand that even if it's a loss of a loved one, if you experience a lot of pain, that is what you radiate to the soul who has left. Let me take this because it's very general, so I will touch this, which is very important. Even if you've lost a family member, remember that soul never dies. So soul has taken another costume, has moved on in the journey. But if I am experiencing pain, I am radiating that vibration to the soul, and I don't allow them to move forward in the journey. So it's like when somebody is going on a journey, somebody is going abroad, your child is going abroad to study. How do you let them go? You'll be like, happy journey, enjoy, take care, because they're going on a journey. And even if they call from the other country, and if something is not okay, you're here, you will still tell them, no, no, everything is fine. Don't worry. You just continue with your journey, with your studies, with your work, because you know that they cannot come back. But just that they get settled there, you continue to tell them that we are fine, we are fine. You never share your problems. Similarly, if somebody is left and we're in a lot of pain, you have to understand that if I'm not okay, that pain gets reaches that soul and they are not able to move in their journey. In some way, they're also experiencing a lot of guilt because a lot of people just left so suddenly. They went to the hospital and they had no idea they're not going to come back. So they're also holding on to that guilt that I couldn't fulfill my responsibilities or I couldn't settle my children or whatever. But the only way we can heal is first by taking care of ourselves, remembering them, but telling them we are okay. We are okay. We're doing fine. And we only wish that wherever you are, you get good health, good people, you carry on your journey. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. We did what we could do. You did whatever you could do. That is something which is preordained. It's no one's fault. So we also come out of that guilt and they also come out of that guilt and we move forward because we do so many rituals when somebody dies. But those rituals will not reach them. Anything which is physical will not reach them. The only thing which reaches the other person is the vibration. Until I take care of myself and I come out of that pain and heal myself, I am actually, if I am in pain, we have to always remember if I am in pain, then my vibration is creating that pain for so many other people, the people who are living in the house, the people who have left the body. What I am experiencing is what I am radiating. Even when I take care of myself and I choose to be happy and loving, it's such a big service to the world. We don't need to do anything extra. If we're taking care of ourselves, that is what we're putting in the world. And we are just by taking care of ourselves, making this world a better place. The second thing about a lot of pain, reduce the consumption of media. If we keep reading so much in the media, this happened, that happened, that happened. I'm not saying media is bad. All I'm saying is each one has to see how much strength they have to consume it. It's like physical body. You go for a party and there is a buffet and there's all kinds of things. There might be somebody who's physically strong and can eat everything and can overeat and not fall sick. But they're very physically strong. I mean, it's their physical strength. I have to take care of myself. And if I think, no, 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 I'm not physically very strong and I'm just going to eat this and I'm not going to eat this, I am making a choice because I know my body. I know what goes for me and what doesn't go for me. And that's what we tell people, this does not suit me. I'm not comfortable with this. Similarly, to take care of my emotional health, I have to make certain choices. There's some people who work in a media room, consume the media for 8 hours, 10 hours, but they're okay. Really, I have met such people. I have met yogis who are working in newsroom 8, 10 hours and they are listening to all this news and they're sharing with the world, but they're not influenced because they have some deep spiritual practices and they're okay with it. And I've also seen people who consume very little knowledge. They just read newspaper for 10, 15 minutes and they read about somebody was kidnapped here and somebody was murdered there, and they're all over the place. They're only thinking about that. They're only sharing it with people. They're seeing it in their dreams. They're imagining that it's happening with their family member. So that means I'm emotionally weak and I can't take in that knowledge and I can't respond to it in a proactive manner. So I tell myself, I can't consume this piece of news. This is not doing any good to me. This is only making me fearful and insecure. So I protect myself from the information. What I'm reading, what I'm seeing, and what I'm listening has a lot of influence on me. So that's another thing. And in the moment, I increase my emotional strength. And the way to increase your emotional strength is meditation, spirituality. When we take in positive information on daily basis, then the negative information doesn't influence us. So somebody who eats healthy every day, once in a while, if they eat junk food, it does not influence them so much. In the pandemic, I saw when people were listening to news, there were people who were creating a lot of fear. There were other people who were becoming very insecure. But there were also a lot of people who experienced so much compassion and they went out of their way to help. So we saw, at least in India, we saw oxygen lungers. We saw people paying for the tickets of migrants. We saw people, standing in line for somebody else in the hospital, paying somebody else's bill. So what I saw was the same information was impacting people differently. So somebody was listening to it and was experiencing fear and insecurity. Somebody was listening to it and was experiencing so much compassion and went out of their way to help. So it is my strength, how I take it, and how I respond to it. So we build our emotional strength, but till I feel that I'm a little emotionally weak, I take the diet properly. So what I hear and what I see and what I listen, I am very careful with that. And the second question that you were talking about was, can you repeat? I forget, something to do with forgiveness.
Yeah, it is if we let go and forgive the other person, but what if they don't let go and forgive us?
We can only do what we can do. It's just that one day we listen to a talk and we get motivated to forgive. They may not be motivated in the same manner. But what I can do is that I open the doors. I tell them I am not holding on. And at the same time, I give them enough space for them to heal and come back. And I can help in their healing. So now, when I am not holding on and what I'm thinking about them is very elevated, then my vibration will help them to heal. Just like, for example, you're not talking to somebody in the office, and today you decide enough is enough. This is not leading to anything. It's making me heavy. It's making them heavy. What's the point? So I go to the office the next day and I look at that person and I just smile a little. And they will not smile back immediately because they will rather think that, I'm just crazy and what am I doing? But I just smile, and in my mind, I don't tell them anything, but in my mind, I'm like, it's done from my end. I'm not holding on to it anything. And I do this again and again and again every day. I just look at them, and in my mind, I create a thought, it's over. Let's just be friends again. Let's just be the way we were before. Let's just not hold on. I'm not saying this also. It's just thinking, it's just thought. And that vibration on the daily basis will heal them. And you will see that within a week or within a 2 week, a little shift on their face first, in their actions, and gradually the conversation will just start. The magic happens. You just have to experiment with it. A lot of work is done here in the mind. So relationship begins in the mind. It's not in the words and in the behavior. Once you have not holding on to anything in your mind, you've healed it in your mind, then that vibration will heal them. And you can also take out 5 minutes, especially for that. 5 minutes in the morning or 5 minutes before sleeping, where you consciously think about that person, bring that person on the screen of your mind, and repeat those thoughts that whatever has happened, I let go, and I would really want things to be okay. And you radiate that pure vibration to them, that light and might to them, that love from God you radiate to them, and soon they will heal. But give them just time. They may be a little emotionally weak and may need a week or a month, some several months to heal. I don't know. But the moment you let it go, you will feel light and you will be able to heal them faster.
Thank you very much once again, sister. And thank you everyone for joining us today. We will be having another session coming up in about a week or so. I have dropped my number in the chat box, so feel free to message me so that I can update you with the upcoming events. Also, we have sister joining us today from Pakistan, what I see from Hong Kong, from London. So yeah, thank you very much for logging in today. And if you would like to open your video and say a thank you or wave to sister, feel free to do so.
Thank you everyone for taking out time and joining. I had a wonderful time and hope to meet you in person someday. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you, sister. Om Shanti. Have a
Om
nice
Shanti.
weekend
Thank you.
and stay blessed, stay safe.
Thank you, Sister. Om Shanti.